Hello. So today we are going to speak about the critical questions on governance and structure. And when you hear the title, Critical Questions on Governance and Structure, which questions would you put first of all? I'm giving you a couple of seconds to think, to reflect about the critical questions you would put first of all. I guess that some of you think about the role of the national organization. Some might think about the division of power and the separation of functions of boards and staff. Some are thinking about critical policies and procedures, and so on and so forth. Today, I suggest you to step back a little bit and have a look at the bigger picture, to go to the meta position and have a look at governance and needed structures from the point of view of what is the most essential, why we need to take care about governance and structure. And the key questions I would put sound like, what is the role of civil society organizations? Why actually do we exist? Why are we needed? What is a critical function for us in society? How to ensure relevance? Are we up to date? Or are we doing the same things because we have been doing it for more than 160 years? Are we talking to our communities? Are communities part of our conversation and our governance and structures, and so on and so forth? And the third question is about the sustainable impact. What is sustainable impact? What we are doing, will this continue when we leave? Of course, we know that the governance is about the democratic mechanisms, ensuring division of power, transparency, accountability, representation, but not only. This is also the art of creating sustainable, long-lasting, and relevant change in society through succession, representation, and co-creation. And I would like you to invite us to think together and to look at our organization, to look at the governance and structures through these three perspectives: succession, representation, and co-creation. Because the sustainable impact, this is about the vitality of our organization, about why and for how long and for whom. When we are speaking about succession, we are speaking about the continuity in all processes. Representation, this is about spaces and opportunities for various community members and stakeholders, so to ensure that their voice, their needs, their priorities are heard and included in everything what we are doing. And the co-creation, this is about the spaces, the channels, means, systems for not only supporting, but for enhancing the ownership through collaborations and synergies. This is about not only for your members and participants and community stakeholders, partners, being part of what you are doing and being proud of what the organization is doing, but also it's about the, hey, I have done it. Our team have done it. I am part of it. This is me who contributed to the impact that organization is creating right now. In simple words, when we're speaking about succession, we are answering the questions for how long and for who. When we speak about representation, this is about what for, why, and for whom. Co-creation, this is about how and with whom. So for how long and who is doing things, what for, and for whom we are doing it in the communities, and how and with whom. And everything what we are speaking about today, it's not only about the finding the best mechanisms on how to organize the systems, how to make the governance more participatory. It's about changing the mindset, and it's about answering the question, what will help the organizations to be more impactful, to be more relevant, to be more sustainable? What will be helpful for you to organize everything so the organization is vital, so it is living and creating really meaningful impact in the community. So, and now we are going to speak about the three lenses that I have just mentioned, giving a little bit of examples to every. So, succession planning. So when we hear the word succession, it somehow resembles us the word success. We are smart enough to understand that success and succession, they are not synonyms, although they sound similar to us. And succession planning doesn't mean planning success, although it actually does. Proper succession planning often defines the success of an organization. And I really love this quote, which illustrates this thought. Mere change is not growth. Growth is the synthesis of change and continuity. And where there is no continuity, there is no growth. Where there is no continuity, there is no growth. The most critical thing to understand about succession planning is that it's not a separate element in your structures, in your governance systems. It's not one document or a committee that you have created. This is an ecosystem, and it's a cross-cutting element, which should be embedded to all processes and structures that exist in your organizations. So this is an ecosystem. For example, when we take the values and the culture of your organizations, what kind of values do you have? Do you have them written? Do you have them widely discussed? Have you discussed how they are implemented, what actually they mean for you? Do you have the value of youth empowerment there? Are the values of transparency and accountability, division of power are included there? Is the value of power change is there? And also how the culture of organization support implementation of those values. The same with strategic planning. So with the strategic planning, we discuss together. We understand what are our key priorities. We understand what kind of change we are creating externally and internally. And then we realize that our teams need specific skill set for implementation of this plan. And then we start thinking about the board members that will be really great that the board members understand more about some specific topics. So, and the staff team has other roles and other functions and other competences. For example, when we're speaking about the skill set determination, the board typically has three sets of skills that we're searching for. The first one will be about the general soft skills on how you communicate, how you solve the problems, how you approach the culture of organization. Second one is about the governance, specific knowledge about governance. As far as you are the board member, you need to understand what are the functions, what you need to do, what you do not need to do, etc. But the third one, if you understand that your strategic plan really, for example, focuses on the topic of ecology, so it will be great to have people who understand something in it. And typically you create the board in a balance, so different kind of skills are present. So there are people who understand in ecology, there are people who understand in fundraising, there are people who understand in people management, and so on and so forth. The same with relevant policies and procedures. So do you have the written rule of a limited terms of office for the president, for board members? Do you have the nomination procedure written? Do you have a procedure of hiring the Secretary General? Do you have the evaluation of board and staff? The process, how it looks like, what are the templates? Do you have the emergency succession planning process? For example, if something happens with the key leaders, what the organization is doing. Are we ready if someone goes by any reason unexpectedly? And so on and so forth. So training, of course, so to ensure there is the appropriate leadership. So we train people according to the topics that our organization really needs. So this is about our organization, our values, the history. This is about governance. This is about the management. It's about how to write application, how to fundraise, how to work with people, and so on and so forth, according to your strategic priorities. But keeping in mind the succession, that those people will come after you. They will take the positions that you are taking right now and other people are taking right now. And of course, like system of motivation, do you have it developed? Do you know how to work with people, how to create such places where they feel appreciated, where they feel needed, where they grow as professionals and as personalities? Knowledge management. What happens with all the data if suddenly one person disappears? What happens with the email box? What happens with all the folders and files that this person was working with? Do they disappear? Do you need to chase a person? Or do you have the system done in such a way that it will not be a problem, that you will not lose your files, you will not lose big work a person have been doing for many, many, many years. And so on and so forth, like youth empowerment, are you speaking about it? Do you have a special policy? And here I need to stop, otherwise I can speak for ages about it. We are going to the second topic now, but before it, I would really love to emphasize that the most important about the succession planning is to think about it. because everything what I was telling, it's like it's not a secret, you know about it, but you probably didn't look at this through the lenses, through the glasses of succession planning. You didn't embed it to the ecosystem of the organization yet. Representation. Mere good governance is not enough. It has to be pro-people, proactive. Good governance is putting people at the center of development process. People at the center of development process. And here I would encourage you to think about the following questions. Whom are you working for? What is their vision of change? How do they see their future? How do they see their communities, Europe, world? To what future they are moving? How do they influence decision-making mechanisms? And do they influence the decision-making mechanism in your organizations? Are they included to the structures? If yes, how much? How much do your target groups know about the opportunities of decision-making mechanisms? Are they aware that they actually can be part of your structures and they can influence decision-making? Do your structures and processes are clear and open for your target groups? Is it easy to enter? Are they accessible? Are your team balanced in terms of experience, age, gender, and so on and so forth? Representation. And the last but not the least, co-creation. How do you shape ownership of all the processes? Who creates the strategy of the organization? How much do you involve not only members, but the participants, the communities, the stakeholders, the partners? Are your means of communication helpful? Which information do young people receive? Who decides what information they need to receive? Who are the bottlenecks in your organizations? Why information is not reaching people? Does your structure help you to facilitate more impact? Is it helpful to create more impact in the community? How do you generally work with the community stakeholders? How much do you discuss things together? Are you the organization really understanding the needs of young people, working together with young people? Are you the glue of community, really bringing different stakeholders and partners so together co-create the solutions that you have identified? The responsibility of leadership is not to come up with all the ideas, but to create an environment in which great ideas can thrive. Environment where great ideas can thrive. So, right now, we just had a look from the balcony to the dance floor, where we are dancing every day and thinking about 100 small things which we are managing and jungle with. But it's time to step back and have a look from the meta position on what we are doing. And we reminded ourselves about the role of civil society organizations, about why we are doing what we are doing. We reminded that this is so important to think and to keep in mind the vitality of organization. So everything what we are doing is sustainable. And we looked at our governance structures through the three key elements such as succession, representation, and co-creation. Now this is the time for the questions. Please leave them in the chats, in the comments. I will be happy to answer them. And thank you so much.